Welcome to Math with Mrs. Lehman. I'm here today with my fourth period class. Everyone please say hello. Hello! Today we are learning how to do division of fractions, and by the end of class you'll be saying...
That was easy.
Alright, so we are going to flip to page... I believe it's... Actually, we're going to go over your homework at the end of class. So we are going to page 18 for you guys in your module book. Bless you. It says Lesson 7, the relationship between visual fraction models and equations. To be honest, we are not going to focus on the models today. We are going to go old school with this math. We are going to learn the algorithm. Who can tell all of our YouTube viewers what an algorithm is? What is an algorithm? Blank spaces. Okay, we have one brave soul.
It's like the standard way to do something when you're like working things out.
Perfect. Perfect. You guys knew that, right? Then why are you playing shy? Come on, kids. All right. So an algorithm is a standard way of doing something. It's a step-by-step process in math to do these calculations. So when we talked about adding and subtracting decimals, we had a certain process we had to do. When we multiplied, we followed a different process. And then the past few days, although you wouldn't know this, viewers, because I haven't made a video, we talked about division of decimals. Today we're transitioning into fractions. So I'm going to write the algorithm for dividing fractions at the top of this page, and all the students are doing the same. All right, so technically, when I was a child many moons ago, we won't say how many on tape, nobody taught this fancy, mnemonic device stuff. They just said multiply by the reciprocal. All right, that's all we were told. But now some teachers, not me, came up with this. Keep, change, flip. And then other teachers came up with another way of saying that, and there are still ways beyond these three. Copy, dot, flip. Personally, this is my favorite. Copy, dot, flip. All right? So, whenever you see two fractions and they are being divided, you are going to write copy, dot, flip until you're about 25 years old and you're sure that you have this understanding, and then you can probably stop, okay? So, example 1 down here, we are going to skip because we're actually going to talk about this fancy word called reciprocal. All right? Does anyone know what a reciprocal is? Nobody knows. Okay. So we are going to talk about that. Let's go to page, I believe it's 21 for you guys in your book. Okay. So this question 3 at the top of this exit ticket says, write the reciprocal of the following numbers. So they give all these numbers, and then they have a column, I should say a row, for the reciprocal. So 7/10. I'm going to show you how you find the reciprocal. The reciprocal of 7/10 is 10/7. All right? What do you think the reciprocal is of 1/2? What do you think the reciprocal of 1/2 is, Dylan?
2 halves? Or 2/1?
2/1. Right? 2/1. Very good. Okay? Now, you'll notice that these first two examples have a numerator and a denominator, right? We started with a numerator and denominator. For this third question, we have just a 5. So we want to make sure all of these problems have a numerator and a denominator. So this just says 5. I want to give it a denominator. Any whole number we can put over what, Nathan?
10.
Not over 10. It would be 5/10. Nope, that would turn into 1.
1.
Any whole number over 1 will equal that number. So 5 divided by 1 is 5, right? So we are not changing the value of that when we put it over 1. So we just want to make sure we have a numerator and a denominator. So now that we have both of those key components, we can find the reciprocal. Justin, what is the reciprocal of 5 over 1? 1/5. Very good. How are we feeling about finding the reciprocal of a number? All right, now I'm going to point something out to you. So, for example, if we have 7/10 and we multiply it by its reciprocal, 10/7, what do we get as a product? Coming over to Genevieve.
70/70 or 1 whole.
Very good. Yeah, you would get 70 over 70, 70/70ths. And that any number over itself is equal to 1, right? So, anytime you multiply a reciprocal times the original number, you're going to get just 1, all right? So that's how we know that 1/2 and 2 over 1 are reciprocals. If we multiplied them, we'd get 2 over 2, we would get 1. If we multiplied these, we'd get 5 over 5, and that equals 1, all right? So, let's go back, now that we know what reciprocals are. Actually, let's do a few more examples. Somebody, anyone, give me a fraction. Mr. Caleb.
2/4.
2/4. Okay. We would simplify that to 1/2. So can you come up with something else?
5/8.
5/8. Very good. All right. So let's add on to our rows here. We're going to make this 5/8 as our original number. Everybody on your paper, write down what the reciprocal of 5/8 would be. I'm checking papers. I'm seeing lots of right answers. It is good. All right, good news. Everybody's got it. All right, what's the answer, everybody? 8/5. 8/5. Nice job. So, let's go back now to the first page of this lesson, which, again, this is all goofy, is page 18 for you guys. Again, we're skipping the models. We're just going to go to copy.flip. So, our first question here is 3/4 divided by 2/5. So, we're going to write an equal sign, and then we're going to copy the first number. We're going to keep the first number. In our mnemonic device, it says copy dot flip. What does dot mean? What operation is that referring to? Genevieve?
Multiplication.
Very good, multiplication. So we're taking the first number and we're multiplying by, what are we doing with the 2/5? Copy dot flip. Coming over to Trisha.
You flip the 2/5.
Very good. So it would become
5/2.
beautiful. 5/2. All right. Do you guys remember how you multiply fractions? They're really easy to do. You just multiply straight across. So 3 times 5 is 15. 4 times 2 is 8. Now you're in 6th grade. We're not going to leave that as 15/8. Yeah, I know. Thank you. So 15/8. What you do is when you look at your fraction, you know it's improper if the numerator is bigger than your denominator. So 15 is bigger than 8. So that means we're going to do this. So 15 divided by 8. 8 goes into 15 how many times, everybody? 1 time. So 8 times 1 is 8. You subtract, you get 7. Right? So instead of putting a decimal point in zeros, which we could do if we wanted a decimal, we are going to take this difference and we're going to put that as our new numerator, and we're going to keep the same denominator, which was 8. So this would turn into 1 7/8. Okay? Any questions thus far? Would you guys like to try one on your own?
Yeah.
All right, so why don't you guys flip the page to example 2. We're going to write our algorithm up here with our mnemonic device. What's our mnemonic device? Everybody?
Copy dot flip.
Oh, that was like one person. That was Katie. All right, Katie, you want to say it into the mic?
Copy dot flip.
Everybody write it down. Copy dot flip. And copy dot flip works for what operation with fractions? Division. Very good. All right. I hope everybody wore their glasses today. because it helps with division. All right, I'm going to pause this while the kids work this problem out. We'll be right back. Don't worry. Okay, so we had some kids flipping the first number, and I told them otherwise. So we need to make sure we keep that first number the same. So we are not touching that. We're just copying it. We're keeping it. And then dot means multiplication. So copy, dot, flip. What's the reciprocal of 2/3? Madison, what's the reciprocal of 2/3?
3, 2.
3 over 2. 3 2s. 3 over 2. All right, so then you multiply straight across. What's 1 times 3, everyone?
3.
4 times 2, everyone?
8.
Very good. So our answer is 3/8. Our numerator is less than our denominator, so we don't want to do anything weird to that. All right, are we good here? You guys ready for another example? All right, let's go down to example 3. 2/3 divided by 3/4. So everybody write copy, dot, oops, that's what that looks like. Copy, dot, flip. All right, I'm going to pause the video while the children work. And hopefully you at home are doing the same thing for practice. Good luck. These papers look fantastic. All right, so we have copy, 2/3, dot, and flip. Instead of writing 3/4, we are writing
4/3.
4/3. Very good. So 4 over 3, and 2 times 4 is 8. 3 times 3 is 9. Nice job. So our answer is 8/9. Any questions thus far? All right, everyone's doing a great job. Flip to page 20, please. This is the problem set. We are crossing out draw a model, right? If you want to draw Tyra Banks in your free time, that's fine, but we're not drawing a model in our math book right now. There's a cringy joke for you all. So, again, copy, dot, flip. Oops, helps if you write with a marker. All right, kids are working. Hopefully you are too. We'll be right back after these messages. So, oh, that was a long wait, but I'm back, don't worry. 2/5 times the reciprocal of 1/3, everybody is?
3 over 1.
3 over 1, very good. So 2 times 3 is? 5 times 1 is? 5. Now, we do not want to leave our answer like that. It's kind of unfinished. So 6 divided by 5 is essentially what that's saying. So 5 goes into 6 how many times? Once. That gives you 5. You subtract, you get 1. So you put your remainder as your numerator over your denominator. So your answer was 1 and 1/5. Raise your hand if you got 6/5. Who got 1 and 1/5 then? Beautiful. All right, next problem. You guys have, let's see if you can get it done in 45 seconds. No model. All right, cross that out. All right, go. Okay, I know that was less than 45 seconds. For you guys, it was like a blink of an eye. All right, so we have our first number, which is what? 3/4, as I write it and ask at the same time. All right, divided by 1/2. So instead of having it be division, we are changing it to multiplication, and we're finding the reciprocal of 1/2, which is 2 over 1, and that equals 6/4. Right? How many times does 4 go into 6?
2. Oh,
1 time. How many leftovers do we have? 2 over 4, right? So technically, 6 divided by 4, you would say 1 and 2/4. Now, there is a way we can simplify this. We're looking for a common factor there, so that would be 1 and 1/2. Some people are really good at this. I don't know if everybody is quite ready, but there's a thing called simplify before you multiply. So instead of simplifying that 2 out at the end here, factoring that out, we can factor it out early. We can say, essentially, this is the same as saying 2 times 2, right? And this is 2. So if we cross it out, we would end up with just 2. So that would be 3 over 2. which would convert into a mixed number as 1 and 1/2. All right, so you can factor that out ahead of time or wait till the end. We'll talk about that more later, okay? All right, we need to review our homework from yesterday, so I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in and watching. Let's say goodbye, everybody. Goodbye! All right, thank you. Please keep liking and subscribing. I'm pretty close to, I think, 70 subscribers, so it would be really awesome if we could get to 100. So the kids are really begging for a 100 subscriber milestone. So please, and no homework. Wow. I don't know. All right, so I'm not sure. Do I want you to subscribe? Just kidding. Please subscribe. I'll catch you next time on Math with Mrs. Lehman. Thanks. Please.